video for your second internet lesson. Today we want to talk about some of the things you can do now to help improve your swing. First off, I want to talk about some of the things that you've done a really good job of. First off, we identified you as being a front anchor golfer, and you've done a really good job of learning how to step in with your left foot first, then your right, then your left, and getting a little bit of bump. So you're set up in the left anchor address position. I notice in the videos you're doing that every time. That really looks great. The other things I want to talk about is your posting, releasing that club more heavy, and getting into that 45-degree extension pass impact point. You're doing a good job of doing that as well. So, as you're coming into the ball, coming down, your right arm's mirrored to your right side, and you have a good angle here as you move into delivery. From this point, you're moving into a good post on your left leg and extending with a good extension 45 degrees past impact. And as you do that, again, we want a nice heavy impact feel. We want heavy. So those are the primary things we've been looking at up to this point, and it looks to me like you're doing a good job doing that. You've noticed that obviously there's other things you need to improve, and there's some things that you've struggled with. In the past, you've struggled with keeping your, what you call tush line, what I call keeping your rear end on the wall. You've seen a little bit of improvement with that by trying to keep your right hip in place as you start your downswing, just keeping it there as your body turns. And we're seeing that actually causes a little bit of synchronization problems in your golf swing. If you turn too early, your arms get, what we call stuck behind you, or a lot of people call stuck behind you. To me, what that means is your arms actually end up being behind your linkage point when you move into delivery, or when you're finally releasing the hinge of your right wrist. That causes the flips and that causes the hooks. One of the things I see happening that relates to this is as you get set up, and one of the other things you've done very good at setup is you've done a good job of creating posture at address. So I like what you've done there. What I notice is during the backswing, though, if we were to mark where your right hip is right now, during the backswing, your right hip never gets any deeper than where it starts. So there's more of an arms and shoulder takeaway going to the outside lifting, and even though you turn, the turn pretty much keeps that hip in the same position. What we'd like to see as you turn is I want to see that right hip get deeper in the backswing, like it's pushing into the wall. And so what I mentioned in the email, and what you've worked on this last week, is the preset hip drill. So you go ahead, you get set up. You got, again, step in with your left foot first, and right and left, you've got your bump, so you're in a front anchor alignment. You have good posture now. From here, I want you to feel like you're turning that right hip back as far back as you can. Trying to get that right pocket behind you. And if you want to do that, go ahead and keep your address position with your arms, hands, and shoulders as you do that. You'll see that right hip will be in a deeper position. Then you go ahead and swing to the top of the backswing. You're going to feel like your arms are deeper, your chest is deeper, everything's deeper because you got that right hip back. Now, I encourage you to play shots doing this, and you found out that it really helped. Your swings are coming more from the inside. All the pulls had gone away. You were getting, if anything, more pushes, which is a good change to see for right now. You notice your impacts got heavier, your contact was better with more compression, and you picked up distance. So if you get set up and you perform that preset hip drill, again, turn that hip as far back as you can. From there, you just go ahead and go up. And then you were just playing some golf shots doing that. And we've seen that you've had improvements doing that. So let's go ahead and keep doing that drill. When you go to the driving range and you warm up with your irons, I still suggest that you play some shots in that mid-front anchor alignment. And if you play shots in that mid-front anchor alignment to warm up, say 10, 15 of them, that allows your subconscious mind to continually grasp the concept that you are a front anchor golfer. Once you've warmed up with that front anchor drill, go ahead and step in, get ready to go, preset your hips, and go ahead and play some shots. So first you go from establishing your anchor. Second thing you're going to be doing is establishing depth with your turn and your hip turn. And so those are two things that we've noticed that you needed to do and to improve. If you start off with those every time you go to the driving range, you're creating some commitment and conviction, and eventually subconsciously your subconscious mind is going to say, hey, these are founding principles of my golf swing, so I need to stick with them. Okay? Now, along with the hip getting deeper, because you're a side-on golfer, we also have to get the arm swing moving deeper. Your management pattern, if you look at the biomechanics, will be deep to deep. So what does that mean? It means that when you're moving in the depth direction is where you have the greatest width in your stroke. You right now are going out, more up and hinging. Your right elbow never quite gets on your side or deep enough, so you never create the depth in your golf swing. Remember, you need to create that depth. You need to open up that right side, create that depth, so that you can get into the slot during the downswing. The slot works down the inclined plane. The more up, more out and up you go in the backswing, you actually have to reroute things to get into the slot. The more you open up the slot with your hip turn and with your arm swing, the more you can deliver that club in the slot coming down. And again, that's why when you've done the preset hip drill lately, if anything, you've been getting pushes instead of pull hooks. Okay? So one of the things we want you to do this is to learn how does your arm swing path work in relation to your body and your torso. As a side-on golfer, I want you to feel like during the takeaway you're trying to get your right arm on the side of your body, in that proverbial sort of marry your right arm to the right side of your body position. If you've ever watched a golfer like Jeff Quinney, he sort of makes that move in the takeaway. Now he goes back past the seam line of his shirt with his elbow, so that's in more of an on-top alignment instead of a side-on alignment. I want you just to be able to get it right to your side. So it's right on the side. What we'll see now is if I go ahead and turn, now with my deep hip turn and my right on my right side, when I get my right arm to fold up to the top, it puts me in a much more deeper position so that that stroke can come down from the inside. And again, that's going to help you fight coming over it or having pull hooks in your golf swing. So we need to get more depth with your right hip turn, but we also need the right arm to be deeper on the side of the body so when it turns, it's deep enough so that you can open up that slot.